This video brought to you by our frequent flyer subscribers. If you would like to support the channel, please consider joining our frequent flyer program at twitch.tv/NovaWing24. Good evening, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the stream. It is great to be here once again for more virtual aviation experiences. Happy Saturday to everybody, because I do believe everyone except the great state of Hawaii is currently in the great day of Saturday. But everybody else, welcome. So it looks like my chat has been very busy while I've been pouring my coffee. So let me just say hello, welcome everybody. Master Braytak, you were first today. So congratulations. I should get like a special first Evo this one. It's always funny, this one. Well, or maybe perhaps, as I said, Necrosapian, you might have actually been first, though. There you go. Should we include the gate address? Well, maybe. I didn't realize you're in Tulsa, sir. That is awesome. We need to have all of... But I have coffee now. I have coffee, and that is very important for tonight's flight. I hope we are all doing well tonight. I have had a busy day. Well, it feels busy. It's one of those days where it was busy, but it sort of felt busy, but also didn't. Like, I felt like a bit like a hamster on a wheel. So instead, let's be a hamster in an aeroplane tonight as we go exploring. I do have an idea of a place where we're at least going to start. I should probably get some stuff ready for that very shortly. But there you go. Cross it off your bucket list then. You came here to watch MS20 and drink coffee, and you just finished your coffee. Well, excellent, excellent. Well, we have plenty of flight simming to come very shortly. So perhaps settle in, grab a refill of your coffee if needed, and we will be flying very shortly. We are heading to Europe, I've decided, tonight. Now, I've had a couple of... by the way, crew, I do want to say thank you very much to everybody who's been suggesting some great ideas for flights. If you do have a suggestion for a flight or a flight idea or a series of flights you'd like to suggest, do excuse us. I feel like a cat with a fur ball right now. Please, we have a dedicated channel in the Discords now where you are able to put that information in there in our flight ideas channel. So please consider putting any suggestions that you may have into that. That would be awesome to share that with us and the rest of the community. Otherwise, they may get lost. So please consider suggesting them there. But as I said, an idea that I have tonight is that I would like to go exploring parts of Europe because let me check. Yes, I do have everything that's live. Excellent, good. So I would like to explore the beautiful country of Portugal tonight. Is what I like to do. Actually, well, there's two places I'd like to go. I'd like to go to Portugal, and I also want to go to Marrakesh today. So I've decided that's where we're going. But depending on how long we spend at each of those, we may end up. We could always go to other places as well. But let's have a look in Portugal because I'm curious about that. Because I know in the old, it sometimes does still feel weird calling FSX and Prepared and even X-Plane legacy sims these days. But really, they are legacy sims now. But I know the airports in Portugal weren't very widely covered, so I'm curious to see how they're done here. So we've always got, we've got Lisbon there. We've got a couple of major ones up here, and looks like we have a photogrammetry city up here of Vigo. But I would prefer to do the Mediterranean sort of part of here, so I'm curious about how we can do so. Thank you very much, Deco, everyone in the Discord there. Scooty1 Pie, hello, welcome to the stream. Great to see you. Sticky Rice as well, hello, great to see you. Alright, so, you know what, we should totally end up in Faro. Part of me also wants to fly the approach down into Gibraltar because we need to avoid... If we do that, though, we need to make sure that we do not bust Spanish airspace. But I'm thinking that we possibly start in Lisbon, and then we head down to Faro. I think that could be kind of cool. So let's have a look. I kind of like the J&B, I'm thinking, tonight. Because I'd like to fly something with a stick tonight, because I don't have my yoke set up tonight, so I'd like to fly something with a stick. So we've got a few choices available. So let me pick our aircraft. We've got to make sure we put our call signs in. So if we were to start at Lisbon, and then we were to finish at Faro, so there's arrival. So we're talking about an hour. Let's have a look if we do punch in some airways. See the problem. See, this is the problem: is the airways. I know they're good and all, but they end up taking you sort of like away from the ground. But maybe that's not too bad. But I don't want to go too high, because I think we should stay fairly low to the ground. So let's maybe only go, let's say 6,000 feet, because that should give us plenty of view of the outside of the world. But we're still above minimum safe altitude, which is fine, which is good. Now the question would be, what is the weather predicted to be for, so we don't have to do anything silly with our approaches. So let's have a look. So we're looking at 7 knots at 120.119, which would mean, yeah, so it'd be a runway 10. So we do have an ILS approach for runway 10, so I have to make sure that we look up our approaches for that. Oh, what the hell's with that approach? That's a very interesting approach. Let's go for the ILS X-Ray and see what that ILS X-Ray... Oh, sorry, ILS Zulu approach looks like. The ILS Zulu approach looks a little bit more forgiving, that one. It's a bit crazy. Yeah, so it's kind of cool, but I have mixed feelings about it. So, okay, so yeah, well, you know, if we go actually, you know what, let's actually do the Yankee approach, because then we get to see the city, as well as getting some beautiful views as we head over, because we actually cross over the center of the runway, heading out to the final fix for doing that one. So let's do that. I think that sounds pretty good. So what we'll do, now let me assign a start position here. So we're going to be doing a 03 departure, so let's start down here, ramp 40. Alright, so let me bring up a little command bot over here. 1175, hello, welcome to the stream, great to see you tonight. There we go, that's the one I want. Okay. What is the cruise speed of this aircraft? I can never remember. 130. So we'll aim for about 130 knots. Okay. So let's go with, let me update all this information here for us all. So live weather and time. Now we're doing Lima Papa Tango to Lima Papa Foxtrot Romeo. So doing live weather and time. Southeast Asia server. We'll go 130 knots. And we're doing it in the VL3, or your aircraft of choice, of course. But something comparable to that, please. So no airliners, please. But so something similar to that one. So that's fine. So guys, if you are wanting to join in the flight, you are more than welcome to. Please type in !flight in the chat down below, in order to be able to get all the information that you need for doing our flight tonight. So as I said, lifetime weather. The resident Drift is not here, sadly, so hopefully Drift will see us very soon and be on board with us. But as I said, I hope everybody is doing fantastically well tonight. Okay, so as I said, let's get that one. So I'm spawning in at parking 40, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the sim very shortly as well. So let's jump in and hit fly there while I quickly rearrange my cockpit controls and get everything in place, because I was a little bit busy working hard on textures, actually. before this this flight tonight. Sadly, not for the new sim yet, but I have got some feelers out. I know that there is at least one of our fellow aviators who's eagerly awaiting an RFDS livery for the King Air. I've got a couple of absolutely batshit crazy ideas for liveries for the Cessna Citation, actually. So I'm currently looking into licensing for that because I don't want to. One of the things that I always talk about making sure that we do the right licensing and stuff like that for anything, because that's going to be a big thing moving forward. So there's a couple of repaints that I had been intending to do for current aircraft in the sim that I've, even when I get my workflow set up, I'm going to be putting on hold because of the licensing has become a far more important issue well, actually it's been around for it's been increasing more. Like we've probably noticed, for those who've been in the maybe not so much for the newcomers to the hobby, but for those who've been in the hobby for a while now, you would have noticed more and more seeing things like the like, you know, officially licensed, you know, Boeing officially licensed product, or Airbus official product and stuff like that. You can start seeing, we've started seeing those happening a lot more, and it's becoming, even for content, like subsidiary content creators like myself, that it's becoming more and more important that we get those licenses before we start putting content out. So I'm flying the VL3, which I want to say is in the base pack. I'm pretty sure is in the base pack. It's a sports light aircraft, retractable gear, single engine. Okay, here we go. That's fine. Now, do I have my right set of controls set up? They should probably check that. I really need to start doing this pre-stream. I do have the right set of controls set up. That is excellent. Good. All right, now I'm going to make sure I've got all of my. Actually, do I have? Yeah, I've got everything. I think I should have everything turned off. Okay. Let's see if I remember how to start this aircraft. I think I do. Okay, parking brake is on. Fuel is on. Have to remember to change that fuel regularly. Now, I am actually going to up my fuel weight. I do want to have a full tank gas for this one. So, baggage, we've got plenty of that. Yeah, that's fine. By the time we get there, we'll be fine for our weight there. That's fine. Okay. So we've got full fuel weight is good. All right. First things first is battery master is set to on. Choke is in, or out rather. Okay. Strobe light is on. Avionics master is on. Okay. Everything looking good here. Okay, throttle closed, that's fine. Okay, strobe lights on, landing lights are on. Now we will be hand flying this aircraft the whole time because I'm pretty sure because there's no autopilot in this aircraft, so we will be hand flying this tonight. Okay, now do we talk to ATC tonight? We probably shouldn't, but what we should do is I should take this opportunity to preset, because we do have to hand fly this the entire night. I really should make sure I get my ILS frequencies reset before we go here. Okay, so what's really interesting is that the nav database that I have doesn't actually have a frequency for 10. That's awkward. I only have the DME. Well then, we're not even going to be able to shoot the proper ILS. That's really frustrating. So I don't have the correct data. That's awkward. And once we've launched the mission, I don't think we can actually set that up. That's frustrating. Oh well. Well, I guess we are hoping for visual conditions when we get to that destination then. And next, if we can just organise some breakfast. No, we enjoy some breakfast. Very nice. Aladdin, Aladdin, make sure that your fuel is set to on. So by default, your fuel is set to off. Okay, so I'm going to brakes off. Okay. Clearance delivery.
Clearance delivery JMB Aviation November Oscar Victor Alpha 2 4 IFR to Faro ready to copy. JMB Aviation November Oscar Victor Alpha 2 4 is cleared to Faro Airport as filed. Takeoff runway tree climb and maintain 6,000 feet. Departure frequency is 119.55 squawk tree 126. JMB Aviation November Oscar Victor Alpha 2 4 cleared to Faro Airport as filed. Takeoff runway tree climb and maintain 6,000 feet. Departure on 119.55 squawk tree 126. JMB Aviation Alpha 24 read back correct.
Read back correct. The number is, so it's one of the things that I find is that even like when I'm just in just like talking to people or talking to people on the phone and stuff like that, if we're having that conversation where I'll sort of say something or they say something to me, or, you know, especially if I say something to them, they say it back to me, and I will say read back correct, and they always struggle, and I'm always like, they always say, what did you say? I'm like, it's just yes. It's a really interesting how it's so ingrained into me that when I have that interplay, that I always do that final of, you know, instead of saying yes, that's correct, I was like, read back correct. Excuse me. When aviation starts taking over your life. Okay, brakes off. Throttle up and taxi. Try not to mow any people down. I see a very rapidly moving VL3 moving towards me. Hello. Sorry, chat. I will catch up with you in just a second. Let me taxi and hold. Okay, I think there should be crossover points. Okay. Not quite. Okay, so there must be a additional hold short point further along here. Okay, taxiway Delta. There we go. There's a hold point. And while we're requesting takeoff, let me say, it said, Paul Osman, thank you very much. Hello, welcome to the stream. It is going great tonight, thank you. Game of Ash, hello, welcome to the stream. Hope you are having a good night, so hope you are feeling better. L'Oreal67, good morning, welcome to the stream. Magic from Oz, hello, I'm doing great, fantastic, thank you. While watching him see the lose is because down. Oh, really? Are they really losing their proverbial of it? That makes me so sad. That makes me so sad that they're doing that. This is, see, funny enough, it's one of the things why I really like Air Hauler 2 so much, is that there is no online component to it. It is a purely offline system. So that it doesn't rely like there. Well, actually, there is an online component where you can sort of see other fellow Air Hauler 2 users, but otherwise it's a completely offline system. You don't even have to have an internet connection to be able to run it. So I think it's always interesting when I see people sort of go through that one as well. Alrighty, folks. So for those who are wanting to join us, as I said, you are more than welcome to join us. We're flying in Lisbon, in Portugal tonight. Feel free to type !flight in the chat to get all the information that you need, and you are welcome to come on board. I'm going to quickly sip my coffee before we take off. Anybody else can do that one, so. Well, that's the thing. If On Air is relying on online services, then they possibly are, yeah, as you say, are struggling at the moment. Which is, it's. I'm really happy for their success, but it's one of those things where they sort of become a victim of their own success, as it were. Which is, which I must admit, in business is a pretty good, it's a pretty good success issue to have. That is for sure. Okay, so let me grab a quick pre-flight family snap. Alright, so as I said, for anybody wanting to join, you are more than welcome to. Please type in !flight, and we will see you very, very shortly in the air. In the meantime, let's throttle up. Positive rate, gear up. I'm sure the wide arc for these flaps is not correct. To our gentle climb to our cruising altitude of 6,000.
JMB Aviation Outfit 24 contact Lisbon Center on 119.55. 119.55 JMB Aviation Alpha 24.
Okay.
Lisbon Center JMB Aviation November Oscar Victor Alpha 24 is climbing through 1,000 feet for 6,000 feet.
Yeah, interestingly enough.
484 climb and maintain 10,000 feet. JMB Aviation November Oscar Victor Alpha 24 Lisbon Center continue to Echo Sierra Papa as planned. Altimeter 29.91.
Oop,
Lisbon Center JMB
that was the wrong thing to do.
Aviation November Oscar Victor Alpha 24 requesting vector to next waypoint.
That was the wrong thing to ask for.
Aviation Alpha 24 continue to Echo Sierra Papa turning and following heading 190 proceed on course.
Thank you.
Ryanair 1884 you are 30 miles north. Descend and maintain 4,000 feet. Expect RNAV runway tree approach via PT 421 transition. Cleared to PT 421. Continue to Echo Sierra Papa turning and following heading 190 resume on navigation JMB Aviation Alpha 24.
Okay.
Climb and maintain 10,000 feet. Portugalia 484.
Now, Portugal is one of those countries that I've never managed to get to, and it's just. And I know Sergio from Helisimmer, of course, is a native to Portugal. Always want to get there at some point. So this will be a great flight, an interesting flight tonight because, so apologies, so I just realised with this aircraft choice, as much as I love flying this aircraft, I realise it is a very hands-on aircraft because there is no autopilot here. So, but that's okay. But it does trim out, she does trim out very, very nicely, so we shouldn't have any issues tonight. We should be able to catch up in the chat there. ATC is a little talkative tonight. I just saw that there. Not as talkative as it was in Orly last night. That was rather fascinating, where it managed to lack of ability to be able to talk with our ground handlers ended up having us being pushed back inside of a building that we almost were not able to escape from. which was rather hilarious. See, I'm looking over there and going, that looks so much like a... I believe that's a military airfield, I'm guessing, over there.
Portugal 1941, you are 26 miles north. Descend and maintain 4,000 feet. Expect RNAV runway tree approach by a PT 421 transition. Cleared to PT 421.
Okay, so we're gonna climb here tonight. No hamsters falling off wheels yet. Oh dear. As I said, I feel sorry for the on-air guys, because I'm sure they're working really hard to get there, to get it fixed. But you know, I think they've been surprised by their own level of success. Oh no, Necro, that's fascinating, that one. So, scaling loads. Isn't that what happened to Cloudflare a few weeks ago? They forgot to remove a semicolon from something, which meant that instead of dropping a single server out of their network, it ended up putting all traffic had to be redirected to that single server. That was hilarious. That wasn't going through that one. Laureate, I'd potentially still give it a go anyway, because as I said, I've seen some weird high pings on other servers and not had an issue with flying in them, so give it a go if you like. You see windmills. Are you going to go jousting with those windmills, Aladdin? That is the question to ask. Will you joust said windmills? Drivizic has 2 monitors now. Double the trouble of activities in the flight simulation space from you, I imagine, Drivizic now. You figured Well, you're here, and if we are all ready and eager to see what shenanigans you can bring forth tonight. Okay, put the choke in now. Whoa. Bit of turbulence to be crossing over a bit of coast out there. Doing a nice leisurely climb up here. Though I'm thinking we may request a slightly lower, let's request a cruising altitude decrease. That's around 5. Apparently you want to use normal numbers 5. Okay, let's do...
Lisbon Center JMB Aviation Alpha 2. Request 5,000 feet. JMB Aviation Alpha 24 climb and maintain 5,000 feet.
There we go. Good.
Climb and maintain 5,000 feet. JMB Aviation Alpha 2.
So that means we can still enjoy this amazing scenery, but also stay below that semi-ominous cloud layer that we're seeing come through here as well.
JMB Aviation Alpha 24 don't have generic in sight.
Okay. I can level off here.
You are 300 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain 10,000 feet altimeter.
Now, I have to keep an eye on our fuel balance because this is there's no automatic fuel sort of share fuel here. We do have to make sure that we are moving between the fuel tanks. Alright, let's have a look. So we've got everything is looking good in our cruise at the moment. I'm genuinely sort of looking out the here and just seeing if I see any of those other injected aircraft that come in from the flight aware data. Now a little bit crept a little bit high there. Such a beautiful docile aircraft, this one. So one of the reasons why I love the JMB or the VL3, I love it for several reasons. One, because it's actually quite highly maneuverable for an SLA class aircraft, but also because it is so docile as well. Like you are able to trim it out quite nicely, fairly high on its cruise speed as well. So we're not quite at our 120 sort of cruise speed that we're aiming for here, but we're getting there. Trim that tune, bring that nose a little bit further down as the airspeed comes up. There we go. Hopefully you should give me a chance to quickly chat on shop here, so let's have a look. Let's have a look here. EVE Online players were saying if the service goes down, it's because they forgot to feed the hamsters again. You know, that is. I'm not going to disagree with that statement. I'm not going to disagree with that statement. Screwfighters is to see it up and out. Oh, I hope it's smoother than that there. That Screwfight. I hope it's more than that. We've tried it. Never fell to the ground 3 times to take off. Oh no. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Like I said, I've been pretty fortunate. As I said, I've had some high pings with a lot of the US servers, especially in the early days. So, so used to sort of seeing those kind of times, but I never really had an issue with disconnects or with stuff like what you've just reported there. Drifters, we're country. We are currently flying in Portugal. We're going to be heading through Portugal at the moment. Is where we're going to be flying, keeping ourselves busy. We're going to be, we're heading a little bit, it's nice and slow. Well, not so much nice and slow, but we're going to be nice tour just off the coast of Portugal. And then we're going to be heading an approach into southern tips of Portugal as well as after we go down through there. Can you tell I've been prepared for most of today and instantly got used to their camera controls again. So you just want to have your Mach 2 balloons. You just want to have your Mach 2 balloons. That's really what you want, isn't it, Bragtac? Also, have Unity Nation on Simulator. Okay, I've only seen. I said that the only ones I've seen is I didn't see any to do with. I haven't, at least not lately. I haven't seen any to do with. Really multiplayer. What I have seen though is I've seen ones to do with the streaming of data. I've seen that a couple of times lately actually, where it's lost connection to that server. I definitely just saw the videos. Yeah, no, it's there's a lot of various YouTube videos out there of the multiplayer substitutions of seeing Mach 2 balloons. And as I said, it's one of the interesting things. Admittedly, like I do like most of the way the multiplayer substitution's being done in this sim. Like the fact that it gives you, unless you have the exact aircraft and the exact color scheme, I've noticed, it'll just put a generic sort of alternative aircraft in its place, which I'm pretty okay with. However, one of the things though that I really talk about with Microsoft Flight, because I think that was a really great thing. Yep, just caught that. 2992. Okay, I wasn't expecting to have a 2992 frequent Barrow today. Where's my Barrow? There we go. There we go.
Climb and maintain 5,000 feet. JMB Aviation Alpha 2.
One of the things I really love about substitution in Microsoft Flight was that Microsoft Flight, if you didn't have the exact aircraft and the exact color scheme, it simply put in a we used to call them UFOs. We used to call them UFOs when we see them in the sim, and it was this very low poly, reflective blue and silver triangle, and it was fascinating, and it was really funny because you'd always tell when you'd found back when repainting was very difficult and very rare. It was funny, you could tell when you'd found a dev, and a dev was testing a new aircraft for the sim, because you would see a triangle, and it was like, oh hello, what is being tested today? We used to see them in Alaska quite regularly, or operating out of Dillingham. We'd see them flying out of Dillingham. And it was like, wonder what you're flying today. That was always a fun thing to explore when we used to be on group flights in Microsoft Flight. Alright. So we've gone past our ESP, heading past our ESP waypoint. So we were heading slightly off the coast today to start with. Drifix, you went to X-Play and forgot how to push back. There you go. You can't have Mac. You want your Mac 24 space shuttle. We'll see about that. We'll see about that. We know. Well, I don't think Leo is actually modelled here, because Leo is modelled and prepared, but not here. You want your Millennium Falcon? I do not blame you, Necro, for wanting your Millennium Falcon. That's fine. Tyler, hello, welcome to the stream. Great to have you here. If there is a specific airport that you would like to see, or area that you would like to see, then what you can do is you can request that using your frequent flyer miles, which is the channel points that you collect here in our stream. So you can use those to request an airport if we only during Microsoft Flight Simulator flight nights like tonight. If for whatever reason we don't get to your airport that night, you will get them refunded and you'll be able to request it on a future stream. But speaking of, Port Elizabeth in South Africa is, we flew there actually. I wasn't launch night, but it was fairly recently we did fly there, and I'm always happy to go back there. I have a lot of fond memories from PE. I have a lot of fond memories from PE. What I should actually do, if and when we go back to PE, I should actually check to see where the South African Air Force Museum is that's located there in Port Elizabeth. And we should go and see how it is modelled in the sim. I'm not sure. I'm going to guess that it's possibly you, Drift, over there in the Arabat. So not the Arabat, the Cap 10 there today. Flying through that today. Thank you very much, Vash, for that one there. All the information there. See, all the information there is either there pre-filled for you. Loving those cliffs there, actually, today. Let me jump outside so we can get a photo of that. I see a beautiful DA62 that's joining us from below, which is awesome. This sim never ceases to amaze me with how beautiful it is. It really, really never ceases to amaze me. Whoa! Okay, that's... Hang on. Did I not move into camera mode? I thought I moved into drone camera mode. That's a bit weird. Okay, so that's really weird. My Xbox controller has been controlling my controls for ages, but now is not. What happened? Where did my drone controls go? That's really frustrating. That's going to annoy the hell out of me tonight. Because now I'm not going to be able to move my awesome drone camera around. What shall I do? Channel, showcase. That is so weird. Like, you all saw it working on my stream before, and now I've lost control of my drone camera. That is so weird. That is super, super weird. I've never had that happen before. I've always been able to do the whole... That's one of the things I love about, being able to put, trim the aircraft out and getting that going. Have it happen, unplug and play the Xbox controller back in. I may do that. Okay, let us try that, because that is insanely weird. Alright, let's jump back in the cockpit. So you can still set that information as because you can do it as a reference. So like your altimeter, your altitude reference, your heading, the fact that we've got a GPS course and all that kind of stuff information in here. That's all available to you even if you don't have an autopilot, because at the end of the day, all that information is there for you to reference. It's not so much there for an autopilot. It's actually there for... It's designed to be there for you for a reference. Now, do we program autopilots to be able to follow that information? Yes, we do. But at the end of the day, even with an autopilot on, you're still in command of the aircraft. So you still have to be supervising and making sure that everything is working as advertised. So that information is there for your benefit primarily, and autopilot is if you have it, you're lucky you have it. But that's where it is. That's why you can still set that information. What I totally should do is that while this is going on as well, we should totally check because we did say that we would check my little nav data doesn't have the ILS for runway 10, which is what we're going to be landing on today, but I should be able to check my other proceeds for that. Door dash is also there. Nice, that's nice. Alright, now, in the meantime, let me try this trick of seeing if I can disable and re-enable my Xbox controllers. Let me try that for a second. Oh, leg's gone to sleep. Okay. One of these things is not like the other. I think this is the one. Hopefully turning this one off back on again will be fine. Yep, there it goes. Right. Okay. To re-wedge my chair back into place. One of the things I do like is that the setup that I have is that I have a And I bought it actually not long before this sim came out. I bought a USB hub, powered USB hub. And I bought a 16 port powered USB hub. But the thing that it was interesting, I had a choice between two models. And I'm really glad I got the one that I did, because it cost me an extra, I think, $10. But I picked one that actually has individual buttons next to each USB port. So in order to reset this controller, I didn't actually have to unplug it and plug it back in. I just had to power that socket down. But let's see if that actually worked for us. So let's go to drone camera mode. And nope, didn't work. That's really weird. Why did that not work? That makes me sad. That makes me so sad that that's not working. But I should not be able to control the aircraft at all in this mode. So that's really weird, because that's one of the things about drone camera mode, is that it should completely disable your aircraft. You shouldn't be able to control it in any way, shape or form. So this is so weird that this is happening. So I said this in the chat last night as well. I feel kind of I feel kind of special, because it's pretty awesome when you get. It's a pretty awesome feeling. It's funny, actually. I was talking to my partner about this today, because it's kind of cool when you feel like you reach a whole new level of success, when your streams and your YouTube channel comments are targeted by bots, the spam bots. It's really hilarious when that happens. I feel like, is it a weird thing to think that you've reached a certain level of success when you have that happen? Is that strange, or is that just me? Like, you know, I genuinely appreciate everything that you guys do for me as well. I just want to always maintain that as well, guys. You guys rocked my world. Okay, so yeah, as I said, that is such a weird thing to have that happen on stream as well. So we have the video evidence that we can clip and we can send to Asobo and be like, WTF, what's going on here? It is almost as if the camera system is actually... Yeah, so that's the external camera system that is... Yeah. So I've got full control of the aircraft in this mode, which is what I expect. I expect to have that full control mode. But in this mode, though, I do not expect to be able to have any control of the aircraft at all. I expect that I should not be able to control this aircraft at all. In that is so weird. Yeah, off to my left. Okay, I'll have to... yes, there you are. It's just how you viewers. Oh, 200 feet below. Let's climb back up again. Alright, so trimmed out back down to level. Just watch that gentle oscillation of the aircraft here. So to be honest, yeah, absolutely, no worries. To be honest, I use OBS. I use plain, boring, old OBS is all I do. I think it's not even the latest version. I think it's one or two versions older than the current one. But it does have a semi-stable Twitch integration. So that's where. So I actually watch and read your comments. Excuse me. Above my Twitch, sort of above my OBS feed. So it does that for me as a basis, but that's kind of, yeah, I said I'm fairly no frills when it comes to how I stream, because I'll be honest, guys, I still don't know what I'm doing. I know it seems like I know what I'm doing, but I kind of don't. That's okay. I give a very good impression of trying to get what I do. Old school, well, old school works. Yeah, that's the thing. If it's not broke, don't fix it. I did look at no streamer knows what they're doing. Yeah, you know, I'll get behind. I can get behind that. I can get behind that statement. So, I mean, one thing you probably notice is that the overlays I do use. Obviously, I use online overlays. I don't use. I use semi-customized overlays. I would use like template built ones that I put together, and I use those. They're powered by Player.me. Player.me's, I feel that platform is going to go soon, so I need to be wary of that. But it does the job. They've pared back a lot of the integrations that they used to have with Twitch and Mixer. And YouTube, they pared back a lot of the integrations, so a lot of stuff used to be able to be done automatically, which I now have to do manually, like for updating videos and content, like the post content and stuff like that. But I mean, it still works, and it still shows shows you guys what's going on, so that's kind of cool, kind of awesome. And personally, I discovered they have a KDA one, which is supposed to be for LOL, but I use that for when I stream textures, like and livery content and stuff like that. I stream those. Big streamers have people for that. Sydney Aerospotter, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the crew. Great to have you on board. Slow down. What? I'm only doing 110? What are you talking about, Drift? Come on, you can keep up. Okay, so yeah, so Soldier One. Yeah, I've heard of a couple of streamers using that one. Haven't personally used it myself. Okay. And little on that climb, need to drop that altitude a little bit. I'm wondering if I accidentally pressed some form of key command that's actually turned or disabled the drone camera. I wonder if that's what... I feel like that I've maybe done something silly like that. I wonder if that's what I've done. Okay. Okay, so it definitely works... Okay, so the camera view definitely works there. Okay, that's fine. Let's go reset position here. Definitely, she's definitely getting a bit buffety as we go over the coastline here. She's definitely feeling a little bit angsty, this aircraft, at the moment. All right, let's try. Yeah, no camera controls when I am, but it's still aircraft control in the drone camera mode. That is so weird. Not what I was expecting at all. Yeah, still got numlock on. Yep, nothing. Probably should not do that. That is so weird. Why it is not doing that? That is so weird. I wish I knew what was going on. Most perplexing. Most perplexing. It wasn't too turbulent, but it was interesting noticing that subtle perturbances as we went over. I have somebody's nav lights in sight over there off to my left. Yes, for going over this part, going over Portugal here, it sort of feels very, it's really interesting. In some ways, it feels like parts of North Africa, which actually, many parts of Africa are actually very lush. And looking here reminds me sort of a bit of, it doesn't remind me of Australia, but it definitely reminds me of parts of North Africa, where, like parts close to the river and close to the coastline, where they have that sort of lush, but also, very rugged terrain as well. Also, I appreciated that somebody understood my Don Quixote reference as well earlier. Thank you very much. I did miss that in whoever it was in the chat, but thank you for letting me for making sure I didn't appeal that to complete silence. You've vectored to me. Excellent. Thank you very much. Well, that's good to know. Noise Laureate, that is great. Thank you very much for stopping by. Say hi to the puppy for us as well. My four-legged furry companions are currently sleeping on the job, but you never know. First Officer Fluff may join us later on tonight at some point. So what I may end up doing, guys, is I may end up restarting this sim after we've flown this first flight tonight, because not having that drone camera, it makes me really sad that I can't get some really good screenshots. It makes me so sad if I'm not going to be able to get good screenshots on this particular flight tonight. Because we're going through Portugal, we're going through an amazing part of the world, and I'm not going to be able to get some amazing screenshots from it. That's going to make me super duper sad. Nice bracket position there. Okay, and we have to put our scroll lock on and acknowledge that instruction.
Descend and maintain 5,000 feet JMB Aviation Alpha 24.
Definitely an amazingly beautiful part of the world. Alright, now while we're setting on this, what I will do is I will try and at least give you that view at least, and we'll see if I can look up the... let's go to... So we're heading to LPFR. Let's see if we can find the the frequency for that ILS. So we're going to LPFR. Okay, and now I need to find... Now, that data I'm pretty sure is on SkyVector. Or it might be it might also be a back course ILS, which is entirely possible as well. It could be a back course ILS. Let's have a look. 3 degrees. Okay. Where is... Alright, so let's see if we can find the approach plates. LPFR approach. Totally going a little bit off course there. That trimming is not working out for me right now. Also, so weird, like, because I shouldn't, or the whole time here, I'm going, I should not be able to control the aircraft in this viewpoint, because I've never been able to do that one. Killed a country fried steak, eggs, and hash browns. That is... Okay, first off, I love the fact that you have second breakfast already prepared. That's great. Secondly, that's... I'm like, I'm so hungry now. Like, I've had dinner, and I'm still so hungry. Come on. Okay. Should probably get up there, otherwise ATC are going to get annoyed at us. There we go. Okay. Let's see if we pull these approach charts. Here we go. Okay, Portugal. This looks like it's going to be really out of date. This ATC is really annoying me tonight.
Descend and maintain 5,000 feet JMB aviation altitude.
Okay. Now, of course, the AIPs for Portugal look like they're behind a gate, which is rather frustrating. Let's get back inside the cockpit. Okay. Alright, let's see, as I said, let's see if we can find that. Aeronautical charts, here we go. AIPs, AIP supplements, here we go.
Descend and maintain 10,000 feet, Iberia 581.
Let's translate. Okay, AI says... really not seeing any of the approach plates that I need, which is really frustrating. Okay. Because I thought I could get all of the data that I needed for ILSs from SkyVector. Apparently not. Drift, what are you doing to your aircraft? This is what happens when you got to be very careful with how you treat your aircraft. Otherwise, they're going to come back and do things like that to you. No worries. We will see you very, very soon. Okay. So I thought. Let's have a look at the VFR chart. Let's have a look.
Descend and maintain 10,000 feet, Iberia 581.
Definitely, I miss. Oh, here we go. Faro. Here we go. Charles Europe. That's what I want. That's Charles. That's no. That's Charles de Gaulle. Okay, we're looking at Portugal. Faro. 16 Charles. Let's see what the Iraq is on these. This is, I think, really old. Yeah, so this is, yeah, these are old charts as well, because these also don't have a ILS on 10. These only have an ILS on 28. ILS 28. They got the VOR, but they don't. Okay, so I wonder if it is it's a back course ILS rather than an actual full ILS, because looking at this, it's got the X and Y, but yeah, it's a VOR. It's a VOR DME approach, not a ILS approach. Right, okay. Also, I love the fact that the sun just came out from behind those clouds and suddenly everything in the sim got so much brighter. That is super cool and super awesome how that happened. Kuztak, hello, thank you for, welcome to the stream, thank you for the follow, welcome to the crew, great to have you on board. Hello in the Captain there, we at least get a photo of that. Alright. For anybody who is just joining, if you are wanting to join us on this flight, we are currently flying through Lisbon. If you type in exclamation mark flight in the chat, you can get all the information that you need. Oh, 2990. Okay, I need to change my barrow. Thank you very much. There we go. Alright, so we see how far. Let's have a look at our plan here. Look at our flow plan on our GPS. Now, that would be assisting why I'm running got that little bit of a left lean at the moment, is because I haven't switched our tanks back for a while. So let me switch over to the right tank. That would be playing part of the reason why we're being a little bit dragged across the side of the aircraft there. Okay, so coming here, so we're more than halfway. We're doing our VOR approaches in 410 there. Alright, now I am going to leave this aircraft for a minute, guys, because I do have to quickly check my blood sugars. Unfortunately, my continuous monitoring devices have been giving me trouble again. It's been fine all day, but as soon as the stream was about to start, it decided it didn't want to work. So I'm going to hopefully have this aircraft trimmed out really well, relatively well, and hopefully it will not crash us into the ground. Exactly, Lafo, that is what I'm trying to do. So hopefully the aircraft won't go too running away for us, and I'll be right back. Okay.
Climb and maintain 5,000 feet JMB Aviation Alpha 24.
Okay. Okay. Bring us back up to our cruising altitude of 5,000. Make sure we hit our next waypoint. That looks like it'd be a fun area to explore down, probably with the icons or maybe some cubs on another trip, I think. Alright. My because ATC was calling me, so let me get my chair wedged back into place properly. How do you use the no, I find mine pauses fine. I had to manually rebind the key I actually bound it to F7 as the key I bound my pause to, and it works fine. What I did notice though is that, for example, if I hit pause, so I've just hit pause now, is that it'll stay on the last viewpoint that you hit pause on for several seconds before it then snaps back to the default view, which is actually better than what it does in some of the other, in some other sims where it sort of just sits in that other weird viewpoint. It's actually nice that when it loses signal to the head tracking, or when you hit it on pause, it'll just snap back to the default forward view. Cool. Thank you very much. Let's go. Scroll lock. Knowledge stamp.
Climb and maintain 6,000 feet. Expect ILS Yankee runway 10 approach via Victor Foxtrot Alpha transition. Cleared to Victor Foxtrot Alpha JMB Aviation Alpha 2.
So the only thing I can assume is that I'll have to punch in the. As I said, I can't find. So if anybody else out there has any charts that tells them what the ILS for runway 10 is, because none of the charts I can find says there is an active ILS on 10. So I'm going to have to assume that it's a back course for 28. So. So let me, while thinking of that, let me program that back course in. So we're talking about 109.5. Okay, let's go to split screen. Procedures. Okay. Now what did I say it was? 109.5. 109.50 transfer. And enter. Okay, rock 2 109.50 transfer. Enter. Okay, yes, back onto our course for our procedure. So guys, 1 second, I'm just seeing this to the chat there, 1 second. Yeah, okay, that's what you're seeing is where you use match with yoke button. Yeah, I said I haven't mapped mine to a controller because I use so many different sets of controllers for different types of aircraft and for different games. So that's why I haven't mapped mine to a controller. I just use a keyboard command for mine. Should we do a landing comp there? We will do the official landing challenges or future landing challenges once the SDK gets opened up for those of us who want to make the additional ones. We'll see. Fiverr, hello, welcome to the stream. I suppose I can't, considering that the webcam's what's looking at my hideously ugly, beautiful face. So my webcam is just a Logitech. It's a Logitech normal one. I know. It's a Logitech C something. That's the best I could tell you. Sorry, mate. I think actually, if you check out my About tab or my system specs, I think I might actually have it put in my system specs. Still, is it? Okay, Necro. If you're about to tell me that it's a positive rate landing, that I somehow would actually not be surprised by that. Way to look the airport on this slows the plane. So you can look the airport up for procedures, I believe, on the G1000s here. Let's have a look. So if we go to flight plan. Yeah, so I believe it's you can look it up for procedures, but it gives you the course procedures and doesn't give you the frequencies. But let's see. Yeah, so we've got the ILS runway 10. So we've got ILS 10 Yankee approach, but doesn't actually tell us what the frequencies are, unfortunately. Oh, it actually says it there. It's a VOR DME approach, not an ILS approach. Right. Okay. So I was actually right. It is a VOR approach. Okay. Which in that case, I need to program a different beacon in then, so because that won't be what I need. I need 112.8 is the frequency that I need now. Right. So we're going to go back to that now. So we're going to go split. We're going to go drifting off course there a little bit. Alright, so the VOR DME approach now, so that makes more sense now. So I need to put the DME in, which is 112.8 is the DME I need to put in. So it's 112.80, transfer, enter, and nav2. I'll leave nav2 as 109.5 actually, because that should still give me the back course information for my center line. So let's do that today. Alright, let's go with that. But I will put as a standby frequency 112.8 as a standby. 2.80, transfer, enter. And, oh, that cleared both the frequencies out. That's a bit silly. So we want 112.80. And then 109.5. Cool. There we go. Alright, now hopefully that will work. This will be interesting because I haven't flown a DME arc approach for a hot minute. So this should be good. I think it's for what is for most visually pleasing. Alright, let's look here. Well, Drift, we have landing challenge Tuesday, where we'll do a variety of landing challenges. So we do have our landing challenges on Tuesday, so definitely join us for the Tuesday flights for that. Alright, so we're still burning down our right tank at the moment. 22 inches of manifold pressure at the moment. Watching that negative slip on the altitude. Yes, Bugger VL. Yeah, we're flying the VL3 tonight. But as I said, I've had a weird thing happen. Just a little bit before you joined the stream, where my drone camera is not working in my drone camera mode anymore. Whenever I go to drone camera view, and I go to control it with the drone camera with my Xbox controller. Suddenly, it now controls the aircraft instead. And I'm like, no, it's not supposed to do that. Oh, sup? That is so cool to see. Okay, sorry. That was really awesome. That was such a cool, awesome moment to actually be able to see that.
Going to 119er
Thank you.
405 JMB Aviation Alpha 24.
All right, sending over to Faro approach control.
Faro approach JMB Aviation November Oscar Victor Alpha 245,900 feet. JMB Aviation November Oscar Victor Alpha 24 Faro approach. Continue to Victor Foxtrot Alpha as planned. Altimeter 29.901.
Cool, 29.901. Such an amazing sight to see that DS62 there. I've said it before and I'll say it again and I'll keep saying it, is that I really appreciate how Microsoft and Asobo are handling the multiplayer experience, and that whole, okay, if they're not there, then if they get too close, then they just simply phase through each other. Like, I really appreciate how they're working. So we talk about this on the stream here very, very regularly, about how it's all about being inclusive and being supportive of everybody and everybody's way of simming. How there's no one right way to sim and there's no wrong way to sim. We all sim in our own ways, and things like that and how that's being handled really, really embody that. And I always get impressed to see that, and it just makes me really happy that what could have been an absolutely horrible way of implementing things, a very, very dangerous way of implementing things for people's enjoyment of the hobby, has been done so eloquently, so simply, yet so eloquently. Because that was one of the major issues that Flight had. People, you'll hear me talk about, and I probably do have a bit of rose-colored glasses on when it comes to Flight. But one of the things about it was, one of the things that was both excellent and also irked everybody was the fact that you could not turn crash detection off. You couldn't. And crash detection also applied when you were flying multiplayer. So if you got too close to someone and the lag wasn't that great, if you got too close and you clipped, then one of you died. Your flight ended. Whatever happened, and we all shared a global server. So it was challenging, but good all at the same time. I did get a couple of screenshots. Thank you very much, Scooty Pie. I did, excellent. Thank you very much for doing that. They said that was awesome. Alright, so that should be far off to our right there. But we will end up crossing over the field as approach will take us over and above. So what I might do is I might clear that frequency there. Okay, so let's go center this on the aircraft. I'm going to zoom this in a lot more, because I'm going to rely on this. Because what I'll be doing is I'll changing my CDI source very shortly. I'll be changing actually over to my VOR and so I can see a course heading for when we come in to 24. Yeah, okay. For when we do our VOR approach. Might actually just check, because you should be in range of the VOR by now, because we're less than 30, we're only about 20 nautical miles out, if that. So I'm going to switch over VOR source.
JMB Aviation Alpha 24, you are 300 feet below your assigned altitude. Climb and maintain 6,000 feet altimeter 29.901.
Okay. Am I too low again? Ugh. So what I need to check set for is that for my VOR, I need to, so when I said that sim, so, alright, so we've got this set to the VOR that is on that because it's a VOR DME approach. So what we need to do is we need to set our course to be 100 degrees. Should actually probably be 096 actually. That'll be if it's a 4-degree magnetic variation. We get 096. Ah! Yeah, 096. Okay, and then if we go viewer, so let's localize it to. Okay, so that's the back course on the ILS. And then that'll be our VOR DME approach. Okay. So we'll leave it set to FMS at the moment. But once we sort of start our turn, our vector turn, we'll switch over to our other nav input. But I didn't see a range readout, which is a bit... oh, but I should see a range... We'll see, the range readout will come over from that. But if I change... That's interesting, yeah, so there's no range readout appearing here. The range and waypoint indications there is locked to the GPS course rather than reflecting off the distance to the VOR. Okay, holding 6,000 feet, going to be able to start trimming that out shortly. Driftfix, I disagree. I actually think that I prefer it this way. Actually, I genuinely prefer it this way. That there is no... that the crash detection model is only there for you and the environment rather than you and other players. Alright, and we'll check and make sure. I want to try and minimize. I want to make sure, if possible, to minimize that fuel imbalance. So I'm still burning the right tank at the moment, which should actually be good because we should actually be nice and evened by the time we finish and we actually get on the ground. Actually, so it should be, look at that, like burning that left tank a little bit more than I expected, than I planned to. Actually, is going to work out in our favour for being able to have to less effort or less work in my work cycle towards the end of the flight. Alright, now I should have that off to our right there. Now, I'm surprised the tower hasn't... oh, actually, no, 6,000 feet actually should be about right. Probably should start having them dropping our altitude probably in the next couple of miles.
JMB Aviation Alpha 24 descend and maintain 3,000 feet.
There it is.
Descend and maintain 3,000 feet. JMB Aviation Alpha 24.
Alright. Landing lights, landing lights are still on. Descending down 3,000 feet, I'll wind the throttle back a little bit. Slightly right wing heavy. That's so amazing. I wish I could be getting some screenshots of having everybody flying in formation there. That it looks so cool. Just sort of seeing the. Oh no! There he is. Just sort of sneaking there behind me. Grabbed a quick sneaky screenshot. Yeah, and yeah, it was unfortunate seeing a few people in I did have spend some time. I got to spend some time flying with a great crew from MS Flights earlier today. Where they were reflecting on the events of 19 years ago, and it was really interesting and sort of chatting. And we were all sort of just going for just a easy flight together and just reminiscing or just acknowledging where we were and the things that happened for us on the day, where we were and stuff like that. And it was interesting because and we flew through New York, and it was. And the worst part is that I'm not surprised, but I guess I'm also a little disappointed that there were a small number of people that definitely were not flying. Should we just say not flying appropriately for the occasion? Let's just say that. However, what I was very impressed with is that there were a couple of people that instead were memorializing a different event that took place there, and of course there was the Miracle of the Hudson. And I actually watched two players actually replicate that approach and that ditching in the Hudson, but using one used the A320 and one used the 747. And what I was genuinely impressed though from a sim level conversation was that I think we're going counter to real world traffic. I think real world traffic is doing 2-8 approaches. But anyway, so what I found interesting was that I saw someone fly it with the 747, and they actually successfully ditched in the Hudson. It looked like it would have actually successfully registered as a forced landing rather than as a crash. 2,000. Okay, descend and maintain 2,000 feet. Alpha 24. So it's really interesting actually watching them do that and actually be able to save it and be able to handle it off. It's very interesting because it's how, from another multiplayer perspective, it's very interesting because you see them stop as if they've crashed, but then they don't actually disappear like you do when you crash. So it's really, really interesting and kind of cool that there's that. Because Asobo's talked about and we've seen it here on a couple of streams as well where we've done forced landings. It's really interesting the fact that they've sort of got that concept and gone, if you fly the aircraft correctly, by the numbers to do a forced landing, then it will respect the fact that you've done a forced landing and not register as a crash. And I'm really impressed that they did that. Alright, so we're on part of our star for this approach. Turn back up to, now that was 2,000 feet. So we're going to continue our descent. Cut those throttles back a little bit further. I should be able to actually lead the throttles up fairly high actually at the moment, because we shouldn't have to start cutting them back till after we get on the actual approach corridor. Have it in, yeah, it's 11. Yeah, I've read up on it. And I've seen the Jeppesen chart that they made, the chart that Jeppesen issued in his honor, and yeah, I haven't. I'll be honest, I haven't actually tried to do it myself actually, and I know that other pilots have tried to do it in the sims and not been successful. So it's a real credit to, there's a couple of things that we in real world aviation, but it also applies in virtual aviation as well. Things like cockpit resource management. For example, I spectacularly failed at cockpit resource management when I was trying to set that approach and set the ILS frequency in that DAR 930 many streams ago. But that kind of stuff is actually very, very important, and again, we've talked about anchor before, so aviate, navigate, communicate, administrate. That kind of stuff is really, really important. That flying an aircraft isn't just about, throwing your hands around a couple of physical controls. There's a huge mental part of it, and that applies both for real world aviation and in virtual aviation as well. It is as much a thinking person's pastime as it is someone who's in it for a thrill. Alright, so blew through that 2,000 feet, so let's just trim that back up again a little bit at the moment. Reaching 20 inches of manifold pressure still, nice and good. Alright, heading to USR. Alright, I'm going to switch back to left hand. Yep, beacons in sight. So it looks like we are using the correct runway because they are on the final approach. They're higher than we are. Alright, don't pull back too far. Remembering my carrier approach stuff now, it's like a case of don't sink but don't lift in that turn either. Okay. Alright, 3 nautical miles to the next waypoint, and then we'll be on our final approach. Okay, now I'm quickly going to check VOR. Yep, okay, so it looks like, yep, so VOR DME approach. Though it would have been nice if I could have seen the distance to run information. That would have been nice. Apparently, this is busier than I was expecting this airstrip. I was expecting for it to be this busy.
US Yankee runway 10 approach JMB Aviation Alpha 24. Calling 8482, contact ground on 118.58.
Okay, so runway in sight.
Going to 118.58, calling 8482.
Alright. Switching over to right tank. Okay, so I'm going to change over to my VOR. Changing over the back course on the ILS actually, there we go, yeah, back course on the ILS. That's better. 283, so that's, so that should be, okay, so actually if I set that to 103, okay, let's change that course to, course is this one. 3, there we go.
Aviation Alpha 24, cleared to land runway 10. Wind 09er tree at 20. Cleared to land runway 10 JMB Aviation Alpha 24.
Alright, throttles pull back to idle, high idle, or low idle. No vertical information on this one. This is visual and vertical information. Puppy's over there. Okay, slightly to the left, correcting to the right. Now, it will be slightly offset because the VOR does sit to the right of the runway. So that is to be expected. Alright. Approach is looking good. Gear out, gear traveling. Flaps 1. Slow and steady, as they say. Though we will, at least we are not going to do a Harrison Ford. We are definitely going to land on the runway tonight. We're not going to try and land on a taxiway. Oof. Watch out, watch out. Alright. Alright. Alright, little above the slope. All white, fly all night. White over red. Full flap extended, landing assured. Throttle idle. Bleeding off the airspeed. Hold it off. Flare.
JMB Aviation Alpha 24, turn next taxiway.
We're gonna roll. Actually, no, we can turn it. We can make this one. Think we can make this one?
Ryanair 2452, cleared to land runway 10.
Alright, clean up the aircraft.
On the runway. Wind 09 tree at 20.
Alright, turning off at taxiway Alpha.
Cleared to land runway 10, Ryanair 2452. JMB Aviation Alpha 24, exit runway when able. JMB Aviation Alpha 24, contact ground on 118.58. 118.58, JMB Aviation Alpha 24.
Okay, so we're out in taxiway Alpha. Okay, so faro ground. Taxi to parking.
Faro ground, JMB Aviation, November Oscar Victor Alpha 24, request taxi to parking. JMB Aviation, November Oscar Victor Alpha 24, taxi to general aviation parking using taxiway Alpha.
Okay.
Taxiing to general aviation parking using taxiway Alpha, JMB Aviation Alpha 24.
Is that, I'm assuming that's you, Drift, with your tail skidding antics there? Alright. Now the question is, would GA parking be there? No. Maybe not. See if we can go a little bit further on for GA parking. Let's have a look. I'm just having a look. I'm just having a look at the airport chart here about where we should be going for our GA parking. It looks like it's further along for GA. I do believe that would be them further down there, which should be right. Okay. So let's go taxi past and taxi back to them. It's always great seeing everybody joining us for these adventures. Okay, alright. Taxiway Alpha, here we go. It's always hilarious watching Drift sort of just randomly decide to start hovering in midair. It's always like, are you sure you don't have a helicopter there somewhere? Alright. Let's bring into this place here. This should be good for us to park into. Shut down. Okay, so parking brake is set to on. Throttle is idle. Choke is off. Fuel cut off. Alright. Landing lights off. B strobe lights are off. Avionics master is off, battery master is off, and magneto set to off. There we go. We are all done for this flight. There we go. That was fun. That was good. Let's see if, now that we're on the ground and not flying, see if my drone camera is working again. No, it is not. That makes me so confused about what's going on with that. I don't know. We'll have to see. Guys, unfortunately, we are going to have to actually cut tonight's stream short. The numbers that I saw when I took my blood sugars before were not good. And unfortunately, I've got issues with my pancreas tonight. So, my artificial pancreas needs to be replaced. Sorry guys, going to have to cut tonight's stream short. Thank you very much for tuning in and joining me on this episode. I can't even use my drawing camera to see Drift's antics. That makes me so sad that I can't see those at the moment. That makes me super, super sad that we're not going to see those. Guys, as I said, thank you very much for joining me. It's always great to be able to share these times and these experiences with you. I think it's always pretty cool. I hope you guys have enjoyed the stream. I hope it's been fun. As I said, hopefully we'll get to explore somewhere different next time. Next week, guys, as I said, next week we will be, Tuesday will be landing challenges. We're back doing more landing challenges again, so make sure you sharpen up your skills, and we will share those experiences together. Thursday, of course, we'll be back doing Air Hauler 2 in Lockheed Martin Prepared, and then we'll see where the rest of the week takes us next week. So, yeah, that's okay. Paramount, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the crew. Great to have you on board. Thanks. Drift, you really are an essential part of the community here. Like I always have to say that we always be, and again I always say this, and I always want to make sure everybody knows how much I truly am grateful for everybody that joins us on these streams, because we always want to make sure that we embrace how fun and how diverse the simulation world can be, and I really, really want to make sure that you guys know how much I appreciate you all coming along and sharing my journey with you guys as well. It's really, really awesome. Alright guys, as I said, we're going to close out tonight's stream. Thank you very much for joining me. It has been great, as always. Thank you for supporting me. I'm going to leave you, sending you over to a good friend of the channel, Marichu, and let her enjoy her stream. So guys, thanks for being awesome. Take care. Be good humans. Look after each other. Take care. Safe skies to all. And we will see you on the next stream. Bye for now.